And here we are once again on a Saturday morning, Final Cut TV Live. Now, we've been doing this for many years. I think 3 years, almost every single Saturday. So that's very, very cool. Let me just do one thing here. I want to get this out to all of our other people. Let me see. What the heck? There we go. Now, where is that? Be right with you. And that. There we go. We are absolutely live. Post that over there on the X platform as we normally do. Alrighty, so if you want, I had Ian Anderson and Chris Hawking on Thursday morning, early morning, I think it was. I think it was Thursday. It was nighttime there in Australia, and early morning here, 5 a.m. If you haven't watched that video, it's up on my YouTube channel at Richard Taylor TV. We were on for almost 2 hours. So what I've done is I've made a shorter video. It's about 17, 18 minutes of the highlights of this brand new app that they just brought out called ScriptStar. And it's a really fantastic app. It's $10. Okay. Not only is it only $10 on the App Store, but it unlocks Command Post, the new version of Command Post. It qualifies as one of the apps that'll do that. You need to have an app from Late Night Films. I know, buddy. Good morning from Lincoln, Nebraska. That's over on the X platform. Here's a comment from YouTube. I have seen it, Mr. Triumph. Triumph motorcycles. I found out the last episode, because I used to have a. I'm not sure if I used to have a Triumph car, but I drove the Triumph sports cars, the little English sports cars. That's what I wasn't sure. Back a long time ago when I was in high school. So he's talking about motorcycle, the Triumph motorcycle. So we're going to talk about, I got a couple of videos to run over this text-based editing. It's kind of simple, but it's brilliant. Those two guys, it's brilliant implementation of text-based editing. What they do is they use Final Cut's transcript. So if you want it to be super accurate, what you want to do is correct the transcripts in Final Cut Pro before, do that first. I'm going to quit a couple of these apps that are open right now, a couple of them. I think that's about it. So you want to correct your transcripts in Final Cut Pro before you drag the library over to this app. Daniel says he bought ScriptStar today, just before this stream. Yep. Let them, if you haven't placed to put a note there, let them know that you heard about it on Final Cut TV. That's always good for the people to know that you guys are buying from this show. Absolutely. So, anything else going on? We're getting a big snowstorm Sunday night into Monday. Almost a repeat of what we had a couple of weeks ago. And the interesting thing is, well, the last snowstorm we had was 10 to 12 inches. It shut down schools for 4 days. It shut down the schools for 4 days. So if we get another one like that, I know New York is supposed to get hit pretty good. I've been doing transcript corrections a lot lately. All of the transcripts have to be corrected. Whether you use DaVinci Resolve, whether you use Final Cut Pro, I don't know about Premiere Pro, but I'm sure they do. None of the transcripts are 100%, even close to 100% accurate. If it isn't timing, it's pronunciation, I mean, it's spelling of names, or instead of Final Cut Pro Team, it always says Final Cut Protein. It's what it comes through in the captions, for example. So there's no cat cam today because one of our cats had to go Friday into the veterinarian to have a procedure, some surgery, and she's just got back Friday afternoon. She's not even 24 hours yet. She's still recuperating. So we won't be seeing the cats today, but we got other stuff to talk about. So this is one of the main things that I'm surprised that Final Cut hasn't incorporated into Final Cut Pro yet, is text-based editing. This $10 app takes care of that. They do a great, great job. Very handy, and we'll watch a little bit of the video to see how that goes. Let me pull it up on the App Store while I have everybody. Let's see where we are. App Store, App Store. I have a lot of apps that start with A. Let's see what we are here. All one word. Star Script. ScriptStar. Sorry, I get it wrong. ScriptStar. There it is. Update already? Wow, it's already got an update. Oh, very cool. So let's look at this, and then we'll do some of the interview that I did with Ian and Chris, and then I also did a demo highlights from when Ian demoed it. So let's go to here. So here it is, ScriptStar, text-based editing in Final Cut Pro. It already has an update. It's only been out for like 1 day. It already has an update. I'm not going to do that now, but the update says if you have existing favorite ranges on your clips that get imported into ScriptStar, we now convert them to a keyword collection called favorites with an emoji symbol. The star is the emoji symbol. So what apps or tricks can I use to get transcripts translated in French before using ScriptStar? Edit, export an SRT, edit it in French, and then import that into ScriptStar, and your captions will be in French. So yeah, there's a way. Just take the transcript, translate it outside of Final Cut, and then re-import it into ScriptStar, and then the captions will be in the new language. We talk about that in the video. So let me go there a couple places. Let me just see. We'll go to YouTube channel content. So I have 2 videos up, the live video, but this is the other video that I have up. And we'll watch a little bit of that. We'll watch a little bit of that. Let me just play a little bit of the videos, a little bit at a time. We'll do that right now. So this is the first one. This is from the late night website.
ScriptStar brings text-based editing to Final Cut Pro 12. It converts Final Cut Pro's built-in transcripts into named favorite ranges on the same browser clips. This lets you see exactly what was said, instantly select it, and add it to your timeline. Why do you need this? Well, Final Cut Pro 12 transcribes your source clips, which is useful, but you can't see those transcripts directly, so you have to know what to search for. You also can't send transcripts to your clients, so they can tell you the parts of an interview that they want to use. And currently, the transcripts are only available in English. ScriptStar solves all these problems at once. Import your clips into a Final Cut Pro library as usual, and organize them into events if you like. Launch ScriptStar as an app or from the Final Cut Pro workflow extension menu, then drag your library into its drop zone. Choose the events that you want to process, and then proceed. At this point, you can replace any of the built-in transcripts by dragging in SRT files that match the names of any of your existing clips.
So in order to do a different language, you have to edit your SRT into the language that you want. You want to, if it's in English, you want to translate it into French, and then re-import that SRT into ScriptStar, re-import it, just drag and drop on top of the application. Now, let me see how this works exactly. The SRT has to have the same name as the clip in Final Cut or the file, the actual file on the hard drive. So that's how you translate the captions. You got to do the translation from English to the other language. I don't know. I don't have that issue, but I'm sure there's apps out there that'll do that for you. Translate it to whatever, and then you re-import that SRT into ScriptStar, and the captions will be whatever language you want. All right, let's go back. Where in the heck is that? There we go. Now, why did that? That's weird. Didn't have that set up.
Then drag your library into its drop zone. Choose the events that you want to process, and then proceed. At this point, you can replace any of the built-in transcripts by dragging in SRT files that match the names of any of your existing clips. This is great for foreign languages, if you've had clips transcribed or edited by humans, or if Final Cut Pro's transcript for some reason hasn't worked. Press this button to send the named favorites back to Final Cut Pro. They'll appear in new events with a star at the end of the name. Before you leave ScriptStar, there's one more optional step. If you want to send your clients a timed transcript so they can highlight the most important phrases in interviews, or if you'd find it useful yourself, you can now export those transcripts in whatever format suits your workflow. Back in Final Cut Pro, look for the events with a star in the name, and twirl each clip's disclosure triangle to see every line of transcribed dialogue. Press / to hear a single line of dialogue, or just drag it to a timeline as usual.
So let me see, we have a couple questions here from Luke. Good morning, Richard. What will that script replace your round trip to Resolve, or do you prefer to use Resolve? No, it will replace my round trip to Resolve. It absolutely will, because I'd rather just stay in Final Cut. And this does exactly the same as, almost exactly the same. In Resolve, it gives you a text file with timestamps, and all you do is highlight the text and then drop that into a timeline. Highlight the text that you want, drop it into the timeline. So you go through an hour and you just keep on dropping paragraphs and sentences into the timeline. With ScriptStar, instead of a text file with the timestamps, the clip has all the dialogue as favorites. So you open up the clip and you just click on the phrase that you want, and if you like that phrase, drop it into the timeline. Click the favorite, look at the name of the favorite, which is the dialogue. If you like it, drop it into the timeline. So it's basically the same. Plus, in both applications, you can export PDFs, SRTs. I find transcription works best when the dialogue has hard cuts where you want phrases to be cut. Absolutely. So if you're doing a video and you want it to be transcribed, speak clearly and stop specifically at the end of your sentence, and it'll be easy to transcribe. All right, we got one sale here. Purchase, $10. What about repeated lines? Can two favorites have the same name? I think so. I think they can. Yeah, it's because what the favorite is just a section of the timeline. It's repeated on the timeline. So when you open up your clip in Final Cut, the twirl down arrow, the triangle, and you click on one of the favorites, it's highlighted in the browser. So I'm sure they can have the same. Just as now you can name two favorites the same. Yes, absolutely. Listen, $10. Actually, $9.99. $10. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It does exactly. And you can export files. You can import SRTs if you want to change or correct your transcript. It's really very, very cool. Now, you have to transcribe. Let Final Cut Pro transcribe first. Let me see. Is that right? No, you don't. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't transcribe to captions. It just transcribes for the transcription search. So, and that does it automatically with Final Cut 12. It's not transcribed to captions. That's a separate step. It's just transcribe so you can search inside of Final Cut. And what happens is Final Cut, when you do that, in Final Cut 12, when you do that, you can do it manually if you haven't done it already, but it does it automatically. It's automatically turned on. It's for the transcription search, not the transcribe to caption. That's a different process. So when Final Cut does the transcribe, automatic transcription on import, that information is saved inside the library, the Final Cut Pro library you're working on. So that's where they're accessing it. That's where they're accessing the information. It's a really cool app. I mean, I'm very, very cool. Let's continue here.
The transcript search in Final Cut Pro still works, but if you'd prefer to search through the named favorites, just be sure to activate Favorites from the clip filtering menu here. ScriptStar works with regular clips and multicam clips, and it's a great way to find not just dialogue, but anything said out loud during a shoot. Lastly, if you've already marked parts of your original clips as favorites, they will be converted by ScriptStar to a new keyword called Favorites Star. Look for this keyword collection in any converted event, and you can add this keyword to other clip ranges, if you wish. ScriptStar is available now on the Mac App Store. Clip ranges, if you wish. ScriptStar
My phone started making noise. So, yeah, very, very cool. Let's see what else is going on here. Next time I need to edit a longer video, I might want to buy this. Don't wait till you need it. Buy it now. It's $10. Come on. At some point, you're going to use transcription, or, I mean, you're going to use it, or you're just going to, just to have the favorites. You can look through your video now visually, and you don't have to watch it live. You can see what what your entire video is via text and as favorites. It's a brilliant implementation. I'm really shocked that Apple, look at this. Everybody's had this text-based editing for 3 years now. Avid's had it. Blackmagic's had it. Premiere's had it. They all introduced it 3 years ago at NAB. 3 years later, and Final Cut still doesn't have it. Transcription search is a little mini step in that direction. The information is stored inside the library. Why can't you access it natively in Final Cut Pro? It makes no sense to me. So this $10 app takes care of that. They access it. You can export a text file. You can export a PDF or an SRT. Give it to your clients. They can read through and have the time stamped. It's amazing that Apple hasn't implemented something like this. Everybody else has had it for 3 years. This is why people criticize the slow pace of development for Final Cut Pro. ScriptStar is approved for lazy Apple. Clever solution. It's very clever. Is Command Post on App Store, or is it an app or extension? It's not on the, no, it's he tried to get it in the, it's too much work to get it in the App Store because of all the things that it does. Just go to Command Post, and there's a download link there for, go to Late Night. Let me look it up somewhere here. Download Command Post. Oh, it is Command Post. Here it is. Command Post. Here we go. Command Post .fcp.cafe.download. No, it's not in the App Store. And once you buy, in order for this to run, the new version to run, you have to buy one of their apps, Late Night Films apps. So in order for it to run, you can buy ScriptStar, and it'll enable Command Post to run via that. Very cool. We have another sale. Good morning, Richard. Great info, just purchased. Thanks to you. Thank you very much. It's a great app. We had them on. I didn't know about it till early in the week. And then I messaged Ian about just to catch up, and he said, oh, we got a new app coming out tomorrow. And I said, what is it? And we talked about it. And I said, let's get you on the video. And we did. What does Command Post do? It does a lot of things that Final Cut does not do. You have to just look up, just go on YouTube and watch a video. It's too many to really discuss. But the problem getting it on the App Store, it's problematic because it does things that maybe Apple doesn't approve or the Final Cut Pro team doesn't approve. So, like, for example, it used to do a scrolling timeline of sorts before Final Cut Pro officially did a scrolling timeline. So that's just an example. There's a lot of other things as well. I've tried that a few times. Absolutely. So we already made 2 sales. So that's our friends Chris and Ian. Now let's go back to movies there. I got another movie to watch. A little bit of, not the whole thing. Let's watch this. This is highlights. Let me pull up this is highlights of the live stream. Sold another copy. Okay, bought it now. Yeah, it's $10. You don't wait till you need it for $10. It's, what is it? 2 or 3 coffees? 2 coffees, 2 Starbucks coffees, and just have it. And you also support the developers. So this is our interview, the live stream that we did last week, just the highlights. No, I'm not playing the whole thing. The whole thing's 18 minutes.
Okay, so welcome to Final Cut Pro. I'll show you what it does before I show you how it does it. So this is ScriptStar, and what you're looking for is, let's just take something really simple. You might start life with this video, which is just a very simple video that I made. Now, it has
one of the neatest things that I really like about ScriptStar, and I asked them this in the video, it puts a star next to an event that it creates. So you can automatically see which ones are ScriptStar. It puts a star automatically next to the name of the event. I really, really like that. That's one of the small things, but when I saw that, I said, are you adding those stars manually? They said, no, it's automatic. Chris did that.
has been analyzed. So at some point in the past, it probably happened on import, I did analyze and fix, and I did transcribe in English, and this happened. So that means I can search through this if I know what I said. So if I said take, then I can find that I said take. But I have to play it back to hear what I said. I can't actually know what I said.
Let's skip around here a little bit.
Only had Final Cut Pro would be to throw this clip on a timeline, maybe slightly different, but it is the same audio. Now, this feature is really very useful, and we're really pleased about getting the multicam working as well.
So this works inside of a multicam, okay? Final Cut Pro transcript search, from what I understand, does not work with the multicam clip. This one does. This one does. This star script does. Does Command Post run inside Final Cut Pro like an extension? No, it does not. It's just a standalone app that works alongside of Final Cut Pro. And it affects things that Final Cut Pro does. I'm not sure exactly how, but he's been working on it for years. And it's been free all along. So now he makes you... He needed to monetize it so it continues to be developed. And he said, just buy a late night app, any late night app, and it'll unlock the newest version of Command Post. My favorite Command Post feature is batch exporting clips on the timeline separately with color grading for clients. See, that's a perfect example. But it's not an extension inside of Final Cut. It's a separate app. I think. That's what I thought. I mean, that's what it used to be. Separate app. Any other news coming up with Final Cut Pro this week? By the way, you can watch the full 18-minute video on my YouTube channel. It's over there. Let me pull it up real quick. Oh. Yeah, it's right over there. Let's do this. So on my YouTube channel, these are all my recent ones, and this new one with Ian and Chris is right here. It's right at the top. Right at the top. And it's about 18 minutes, and it goes through a demo that Ian did live, and I condensed it down to 18 minutes. It explains a lot of things. And here is Chris talking about the latest with Command Post. So that's on my YouTube channel at Richard Taylor TV, of course. Our friend Jeff says, all of my feature documentaries are 2-camera shoots and we use multicam when editing all the time. I just caught the end of that segment. So Final Cut Pro 12 does not transcribe for a search, a multicam. This new app for $10 does. Now there's different ways that you can utilize which clip inside of a multicam that it uses to make for dialogue and stuff. There's different ways, and they talk about it in my video. You have to watch that. Hello, Milcore Pictures. Milcore Pictures, absolutely. Have seen the video, Matt Johnson, about Plotline? No, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't know about Plotline. I don't know about Matt Johnson. Is that something related to Final Cut Pro? Because that's what this is about. So we're getting another snow. We're getting another big snow starting off and on Sunday during the day, tomorrow during the day. Snow, rain, snow, rain. Overnight, it's turning to all snow. So overnight Sunday into Monday morning, there's going to be a lot of snow here again, which is, I'm prepared for it. I have a brand new generator I just bought in August that works. So it's a great generator by Champion. And I got a brand new super high output snowblower by Ariens. It's weird. They pronounce it Ariens, like A-I-R-E-N-S, but it's not. It's A-R-I-E-N-S. But they pronounce it Ariens. They've been in business since the 1930s, making snowblowers and equipment. But it's Ariens snowblower. I got a 28-inch super high output deluxe snowblower that's only used it a few times, but I figured we were going to have a good winter for it. So I got some videos on my YouTube channel about that as well. So when I make videos, these are the things I really like doing with video production these days. I work with animal rescue groups in the area. I do pro bono work for them to promote their events and things. I like rock and roll music, so I do music videos of rock bands or talented songwriters. And the other thing I like is I have 1.5 acres of land. I've got a big garage with multiple small lawnmower tractors. I got a zero turn. I got the biggest leaf blower that's available in the world, the most powerful one. I got that. So sometimes I do videos about that equipment as I'm working, log splitter, as I'm working on my property. And I like that. I like going over that stuff. I like demonstrating it. Some of my very popular videos are for the leaf blower, the generator, the snow blower. Just so you know, that's what else is on my YouTube channel. So let's go back to movies and watch a little more.
But one thing we found is in the process of making this is that there are actually some bugs in the transcript. So if you do what I do, and this is a game developer. His name's Martin Binfield. He's a game developer here in Brisbane that I interviewed for a job last year. If I look at the audio for this, it says it's stereo. It's not. It's dual mono. So I actually record this on these Rode Wireless Go 2 microphones, and they're the left and right channels. Turns out what's happening behind the scenes for Final Cut is it's only transcribing the left channel 1. And so if he's speaking on channel 2, your transcript is going to be pretty bad.
People say there's no bugs, or they say, what are the bugs in Final Cut Pro 12? We just found one. The transcript for searching only takes the channel 1 audio file, Final Cut Pro. What if the audio is not on channel 1? Or you don't get a transcript. It doesn't work. So my favorite thing at Command Post is a draggable guides. Absolutely. I have a video on my YouTube channel, how to make draggable guides natively in Final Cut Pro. It's got, I don't know, tens of thousands of views. It's I made it a long time ago. I experienced a corrupted library bug. It's frightening. It's unacceptable to have this kind of bug, and Apple wants to pay us to pay a subscription. It's a bit premature to justify. So I've got that as well, and I just ignore it. The project opens up, the library opens up fine, the event in Final Cut Pro 11.2, but in 12 it says it's corrupted. Close 12, go back to 11.2, it's fine. It's just complete. It's just a bug. I expect if they do a bug fix by itself, which I expect it'll be 12.0.1, probably. If they do 12.1, it'll probably have another feature or two. That's the way it's been in the past. We'll have to see if they continue that. It's hard to tell what they're going to do. This kind of subscription with the bugs and new features they're bringing us, right? So, yeah, I mean, all software has bugs. That's not just on Final Cut Pro or Apple. I mean, all software has bugs. That's just the way it is. It's just how bad they are. And this corrupted library notice, thank you for another thumbs up. This corrupted library notice, of course, it's a bug. It's a bug. But one of the things that I do is I use backups for Final Cut Pro and back up all my libraries and events and stuff, projects, manually, not inside of Final Cut. I back them up by myself. If it's important, I'll do it every 5 minutes. I can do it manually, back up the library and event and project. Not the media. The media, I don't back that. I have that backed up before I start an important project. 3 copies typically, plus I have it in Backblaze, so I have multiple copies. A favorite list of missing elements would be useful. Tag them all with a exclamation point. Elements. Yeah, that would be. My library does contain more than 500 clips, so it seems to take quite some time when dropping a big library onto ScriptSearch, even on my M2 Ultra. Why does your library have 500 clips? If the library gets corrupted, everything's corrupted. Why don't I suggest making a library, one library for every video you're doing? It doesn't cost, there's no reason not to. So if one library becomes problematic, it's not affecting all 500 clips that you have. Unless that's just one project you're working on, that's different. In that case, yes. Have you heard about the new tool Chris is working on called Keyframe Toolbox? Allows for custom easing with the graph editor for keyframes. I saw that. We'll have to wait till that comes out. Absolutely. That's something look, these guys should be working for the Final Cut Pro team to get these things native. You know, I know people, well, let's just say this. As much as I like Final Cut Pro, it is the slowest paced NLE for development of all the majors. I guess it's slower than Avid. I don't know Avid. Slower than Premiere and slower than DaVinci Resolve by far. They are years behind these other NLEs with missing features. I mean, it took 13 and a half years to get a scrolling timeline. It took 5 years to get remove attributes, 10 or 11 years to get dupe detection. These are standard features. I don't understand. I mean, I understand what they say, but I don't accept it as, to me, it's not acceptable. They should be working at a faster pace. Does Creator Studio allow them to get more features out quicker? I don't know. We'll have to see how that works. Now, I know people say, oh, we don't want an unstable Final Cut Pro. We don't want performance. That's baloney. That's complete baloney. Every update should be optimized for performance and stuff. All the other NLEs do it. Blackmagic Design does it for the most part. I don't know about Premiere. The features that are missing, a mixing board? Come on. 15 years and we don't have a mixing board inside of Final Cut. Not only do we don't have a mixing board, we don't even have a master volume control. But having said that, I like the three main features in Final Cut Pro 12. I like a couple things about the Apple Creator Studio. Number one is feature parity with the standalone version. That's definitely a thumbs up for that. Actually, we'll give them this for the Apple Creator Studio for Final Cut Pro 12. Thank you for having feature parity so far with Apple Creator Studio. That's the three features are cool features, okay? But transcript search, as you can see from this plugin, is not fully developed. So it has to have better, it has to have the ability to read the text. Without that, it's really not that useful. I mean, it's semi-useful. It could be a lot better. Have you or any of the viewers played with incorporating AI-generated transitions? What's your favorite AI generator image to video? I'm looking at Higgsfield. You are talking a foreign language to me. I don't delve into AI generation that much, so I have no idea what Higgsfield is. So maybe somebody else can chime in. Maybe somebody else can chime in. Yeah. So anything else going on? I mean, here I expect Final Cut Pro 12.0.1 fixing these bugs, taking just the first channel of audio. Who doesn't record with two channels? I record with two lapel mics almost all the time. If I don't have the right lapel mic on channel 1, the transcription is going to be, it's not going to be correct because it's going to use the audio mic maybe from the camera or something. Now that I know that going forward, I'll make sure the good audio is on channel 1. Does ScriptStar only support English? No, ScriptStar does not do the translation. It does not do the translation. That's Final Cut Pro that only does English. It uses what Final Cut Pro gives them, which right now is only English. You can take that English transcript, convert it into whatever language you want with an AI app or whatever, and then re-import that into ScriptStar as an SRT file, and it will use the language that you converted it to. ScriptStar does not do the conversion. That's Final Cut Pro. I saw your likeness again when we were watching Off the Tracks. Yes, I was the co-editor on that film, Off the Tracks, with Brad Olson. We edited it for, I don't know, a year and a half or so, the first part, and we went back and forth. He sent me a hard drive with all the shots on it, and we edited back and forth, just exchanging library files or XMLs. I can't remember. So yeah, we did that for a while. That was a good project. Yes, it was one project which included clips from 3 trips to New Zealand over a period of 11 years at different resolutions. Have to go now. Very cool. Again, gold for the Netherlands. You mean in the Olympics? ScriptStar is language agnostic. It doesn't do the translation. So it doesn't do the translation. It uses whatever translation Final Cut does. And right now, Final Cut's only doing English, so that's what it uses. Once again, get an app that converts the English to another language, make an SRT, and drop it on ScriptStar, named as the same name as the clip you want to translate. Yes, speed skating, I see. The U.S. got gold in figure skating. That was a pretty incredible. We got gold with that great skater that we have on our team. I don't follow the Olympics that much. I just see the highlights. Just watch the highlights. Of all sports, I think I like watching track, people running, doing track. I think that's one of my favorites. I really like that a lot. We always record audio into the camera and another separate recording into a Zoom 6 recording device. So if something went wrong with my camera audio and Final Cut Pro doesn't work with Audio Track 2, that would almost be useless. Well, once again, all you have to do is transcribe the audio with another app, transcribe it with Whisper, export an SRT, and take that SRT into ScriptStar and name the SRT whatever you want, the same name as the clip, and it'll use the transcription from another app. I mean, I could use Blackmagic Design. I have Whisper as well. It'll use that SRT inside of Final Cut. So this gets around the limitation that Final Cut, for some reason, has on only using channel 1. And they just I guess it's been out January 28th it came out, so not quite a month, 3 weeks it's been out, and they haven't corrected that problem yet. So there's more than that. I mean, the corrupted library is definitely one, and then the using only channel 1 of the audio, that doesn't make sense. Is there a way to make Final Cut Pro transcribe to SRT by default rather than ITT? Yes, buy this app. And then you can export an SRT from this app. You can export SRT, PDF, and one other format. So for $10, yes, not Final Cut Pro, this app will do that for you. It'll transcribe, you can export an SRT of the transcription that Final Cut Pro has. So don't tell anybody, but Final Cut Pro keeps the transcription information inside of the library. But don't tell anybody. It's a secret. That's what Chris said. He said it's inside the library. So I expect a bug fix for Final Cut Pro. We've already had a bug fix for Logic Pro. Logic Pro has already released 12.0.1. And I expect Final Cut Pro to have 12.0.1. Can you post up the app again? I can. Let me pull it over here. Here it is. It's $10. Just buy it regardless. It's $10. ScriptStar on the App Store. They've already had an update since it was released. It's $10, $9.99, and it also enables Command Post. Command Post is pseudo-free, kind of free, but it's just a great little app. ScriptStar, let me find out. Let me see something here. Version history. Movements. I don't know. Well, yeah, I think it does require 12 because 12 yes, it does. It has to, because 12 is the first version of Final Cut that enables transcription search, and that's the information that they're using. They're not using transcribe to captions. That's different That's something different. So it does require 12, I'm sure. You're welcome, Jeff. This is a great little app. We probably sold 4 or 5 copies so far, plus all the Final Cut Pro websites, Final Cut Pro Facebook groups I have. I have the Final Cut Pro community on the X platform, and I'll be pushing this just the same way I pushed Philip and Greg's app, Caption Animator, and BreadFX's plug-in to make CapCut style titles in Final Cut Pro. This one is really incredible. I was really surprised. It just seems so. If they did it, why couldn't have Apple done it? And there must be a reason, I'm sure. Maybe we'll get an update. But in the meantime, for $10, it's fantastic. I mean, it really is. I'm very, very pleased. I think this is a really cool one. Let's go back a little bit more to this.
You can see everything I said in, this promo.
This is, let me pull myself back on here. See, all of these, what they do is pretty clever. All of these favorites inside the clip are from the transcript information that Final Cut Pro 12 does, and it takes it all and puts it in favorites. Every line of text is inside the clip now, and instead of renaming the favorite, it puts the dialogue that is spoken as the name of the favorite. Okay? And every time you click on one of these favorites, it's highlighted in the clip in the browser. Whatever it is, it's highlighted up there. So as you click on different ones, it's highlighted in the browser. You can drop it into the timeline or go to the next one and drop it into the timeline. It's very, very clever. Very clever. Good to know. Gives me reason to upgrade Final Cut Pro after my current episode is finished. Absolutely. But back up your version of Final Cut Pro 11 and back up your libraries before you update to 12. When you buy ScriptStar, you get a code to activate Command Post. How does that work? I don't think so. I think with the new version of Command Post, it checks to see if you bought their app, one of their apps, and then it automatically, that's what I thought. I didn't think it came up with a different code. I purchased it for future use. Very, very cool. I can't upgrade to Final Cut Pro 12 right now because I have too many ongoing projects. Backups already made, including iWork Suite. You are very smart. You should always back up. And even people with Logic Pro, I've been on the Logic Pro forums since 12 came out. There's some problems. And I say, use your backup copy of 11. Oh, I didn't back up a copy. I didn't back it up. Why? Why didn't you back it up? It's pretty common knowledge. And I found out something. Somebody said that their version of Logic updated automatically. And I'm thinking, really? I didn't know that happened. But there is a preference in the App Store that you should turn off so your apps don't update automatically. Apparently there's a preference in there that will enable automatic updating. ScriptStar is an example of the kind of code Apple has a history of acquiring if they saw the value. Unless Final Cut Pro team is going to do something on their own that is not this. So you can read all the favorites. It's a very, very smart way. But of course, Chris and Ian are both very smart. It's a very smart way of doing it. So you can open up your clip with the disclosure triangle. All your favorites are in there. And instead of they rename the favorites with the dialogue from the video. So this section has this dialogue, this favorite has this dialogue as a name. And you can read through all of those and drop them down. Now, if you have an hour-long one, and you can search through it as well. Go up and change at the top of the Final Cut Pro browser, change it to show favorites, and then that's one of the tips that he had. But you can watch the videos on my YouTube channel. I have an 18-minute video of Chris and Ian and myself, and Ian does a demo for 18 minutes, and they answer questions live. I did a condensed version. That's up on my YouTube channel. Watch that. It goes through a lot of the details and a lot of the questions that are answered. If that's the way that Apple wants to implement text-based editing, I mean, you remember the time that Apple just Sherlocked that Sherlock app by incorporating the features into Mac OS? They call it Sherlocked. They could do that with anybody. I mean, text-based editing. This is very, very cool. I really like it. Very cool implementation for $10. Come on. Are there other videos about late night applications besides ScriptStar? Because I don't always understand their usefulness. Yes, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are. Well, I'm sure there are. I'm sure all those videos have videos. I'm sure all his apps have videos for him. So there we go. So talking about Apple Creator Studio, I find it a net positive. I think it's a positive step for a couple of reasons. Number one is they implemented all the main features into the standalone version. That was absolutely mandatory that they do that. Number two, the price, $12.99 a month, $10.75 if you get it by the year instead of the month. $10.75 per month, it's 30 some cents a day. And it gives you Logic Pro, and it gives you Final Cut Pro, and it gives you Compressor, and it gives you Motion, and it gives you Pixelmator Pro, and it gives you premium templates for Keynote, Pages, and Numbers. For that 33 cents a day, not bad. Pretty darn good. The price is excellent. So the fact that they kept feature parity for us and the price point of it is really cool. I don't need it at this point. I have all the standalone apps. I have Pixelmator Pro. I have Logic Pro. I have Final Cut Pro. I have Motion. I have Compressor. I have all the standalone apps, and the stuff that they're offering is premium. I don't need any of that. That's not enough reason to get me to upgrade, to do the subscription. Now, on the other hand, I like to give the Final Cut Pro team some cash. I'd like to give them some cash. So I'll probably subscribe just a month here and a month there so I can channel some money to the team because they certainly deserve it. They certainly deserve it. I mean, when I was talking to Chris and Ian on last Thursday, if you want to watch the whole video, it's there. It's hour, almost 2 hours long on my YouTube channel. Go into the live section. It's there. But I condensed the demo down to 17, 18 minutes. So at some point, I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to wait till I get a new Mac Mini or a MacBook Pro. I might get the MacBook Pro. I might get the Mac Studio. I don't really need the Mac Studio. This Mac Mini has been great. But who the heck knows? Do they have an M5 Mac Studio that's reasonable in price for what I want? I might get one. Upgrade from my Mac Mini Pro. But right now, the Mac Mini Pro has been doing everything I need. So when the M5 Mac Mini Pro comes out, probably in the next couple of weeks, if they give me 90 days for Apple Creator Studio, I'll probably go ahead at that point. I just don't need anything that it offers. I don't need anything that it offers right now. But I don't mind giving the Final Cut Pro team and the Logic Pro team and the compressor and Motion team, I don't mind giving them some extra cash. I would have had no problem using Final Cut Pro since we bought it, most of us bought it in 2011, if they said, okay, every 5 years we're going to require $99 for an upgrade for the next major version. No problem. No problem. Here's my $99 for the next 5 years. So that would have been $300 at year 5. At year 10, we're now at year 15. Would have been like $300 if they did that, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it. So this is a good compromise. This is the way I've always said, if they do a subscription, make sure the standalone version has feature parity with the subscription version. That's exactly what they did. That I don't mind. The price point is completely reasonable. So here's what I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see you raise that price. $12.99 is a good price point. Do not raise it to $14.99 or $19.99. That's a different story. Don't do that. The other thing is keep feature parity with the standalone version of your apps and the subscription version of your apps. So I call the standalone version just Final Cut Pro. It's earned that name after being around for 15 years, Final Cut Pro. And I call the other version Final Cut Pro CS for Final Cut Pro Creator Studio. So Final Cut Pro owns the Final Cut Pro simple name. They've been around for 15 years. Final Cut Pro CS is the new version. Simple to keep track of. Let me just pull up one more. Oh, let me pull up this. Pull this up down here. Here we go. This is, so I didn't realize that, but I've been doing Final Cut Pro Radio for 11 years. I've been doing Final Cut Pro radio for 11 years. And we just put out our 157th episode with our friend Gabriel Spalding. So that is now, just came out this week.
Cut, motion, and compressor, just to see it. Documentary. I'm still on Final Cut 11.1 for that. So I've looked at some of this new content. I tend not to use any of that anyway. I create my own motion templates, but I do think for new users or, maybe YouTubers, people creating social media content, a lot of that stuff could be useful. The problem with
you can go to the podcast app, or you can go to your favorite Final Cut Pro XML RSS feed aggregator, or I'll tell you where else you can go. You can go to Final Cut Pro Radio on the web. I think I'm gonna redo this, but right now I have these episodes up. I think 7 or 8 episodes at fcpradio.com. And all you have to do is just press on the button here, the play button. You're listening to Final Cut Pro Radio, your home for the best Final Cut Pro news from around the globe. We've been podcasting continuously with no vacations or breaks since the very beginning. fcpradio.com. So we've been doing Final Cut Pro Radio for 11 years. No breaks. We don't quit and then come back 2 or 3 years later when there's news about Final Cut Pro. We kept on going. Now, I don't do that many episodes. I don't do them. I used to do them every week or every 2 weeks. I don't do that many. I do maybe once a month, once every 6 weeks, because I'm doing this YouTube live stream every week. So I'll have more episodes coming out. It's easy to do a podcast about Final Cut Pro when there's stuff to talk about. When there's stuff to talk about. It's much harder to do these broadcasts and the podcast all up until January this year. There's not a whole lot to talk about. But we keep going. We keep going. It's easy. I always say this. It's easy to start a podcast. It's much harder to keep it going week, month, yearly. Much harder to keep it going. Well, Final Cut Pro Radio has had no breaks. We've been going for 11 years. So, I mean, I interviewed Ken Stone, if you remember Ken Stone, way back at the beginning. Is that you jamming on the guitar? That is my band. Yeah, absolutely. I'm playing guitar on that. That specific lead part is by my guitar player that was in the band at the time. So you'll be hearing more about that, what's going on with that song. I'm going to probably put a video out. So, absolutely. Very, very cool. So we want to give a shout out to Chris and Ian for this cool edit. Let me just look over here for a second. I'm just looking. Huh. Very, very cool. So you buy their app, download the podcast. I don't make any money off the podcast. I used to have a couple of sponsors, and we'll see what happens with NAB this year. Well, Ken Stone, that's taking it way back. Yeah, absolutely. But he was one of the main people that I wanted to interview when I first started that podcast 11 years ago. So I interviewed Ken, yes, and I have to go. So what the deal is, the RSS feed is what enables the different episodes to become available. Well, I've been only keeping the last 7 or 8, 9 episodes up on the RSS feed, but I'm going to go back, redo the RSS feed so there's more episodes available. But I also I changed where the enclosure, the MP3 file was. It used to be on libsyn.com, but I stopped that. And now I just host it on my own website. So I'm going to start putting those MP3s back on my website. And then I'm going to redo the RSS feed to have more links to more episodes. Right now, it's only about 7. I'm interested in Recall Toolbox. Are you familiar with it? I am not familiar with it. Besides, I've used Command Post in the past a little bit. This app was the first one that I've got. And it's really an excellent app. I really, really like it. So give them some love. Give them, $10. It's 2 cups of coffee. I'm not giving up my coffee by any stretch of the imagination. I really like coffee a lot. So quality coffee. I'm not interested in 7-Eleven coffee or McDonald's coffee. I like strong, quality coffee. So if I'm going to get a cup of coffee, it's going to be at a barista place or a cafe that has good, strong coffee. So So anything else going on? I'm gonna get out here and get ready for our snowstorm. We're gonna get hit with a good 6, 8, 10 inches, 12 inches of snow overnight Sunday to Monday. I'm gonna go get my snowblower out, ready to go, make sure it starts up okay. Creator Studio is still not offered at checkout of a new Mac. I'm sure it will appear before long. Did you buy a new Mac and didn't get Creator Studio? I don't know how that. They said they give 90 days to use Creator Studio with a new iPad or a new Mac. I'm not sure how that's calculated. I'm not sure, whatever. So I mentioned, he said, no, he just pretended. Okay, that's interesting that it's not there. And it's not there. So in addition to guitars, there's one there, and there's one back here. This is my 69 Strat. This one is my, I think it's a 71 Strat. I have big coffee machines. I use an AeroPress, if you're familiar with AeroPress, and I use real cream, not even half and half. Certainly not skim milk. I use real cream, and in the AeroPress, I make the coffee super strong. It's a lot stronger than a normal cup of coffee. It's more like an espresso. And then I add cream to that. And that's what I like. And I take that with me when I travel. So if I'm going to NAB, I'm going to let you know more about that in March, whether I go to NAB or not. If I go to NAB, I'm going to be covering the Final Cut Pro track. That's one of the main things that I would go for. I've got a hotel. I've got airfare. But we'll have to see how it goes as we get closer to NAB. We'll have to see how it goes. I don't know the specifics of the Final Cut Pro track at NAB yet, just that they're going to have it. And if I go, I'll be reporting to all of you, everybody, on my YouTube channel and on X and on Facebook Live, maybe Instagram. I'll be reporting live from NAB anything Final Cut Pro related. So we'll have to see how that goes. So one of the things about the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit is they said it's going to be in the spring. Okay? They're really late getting that information to us at this point. And they said it's going to be in the spring. So we're still in the spring. That's absolutely true. But there's really no sense in doing a Final Cut Pro Creative Summit without an update to Final Cut Pro. In other words, let's just say they did the Creative Summit in March or April with no update to Final Cut Pro. We really don't want to go to the Creative Summit and talk about an update that was 2 months ago. No. You need to have a new update to Final Cut Pro to coincide with the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. That's the way it works. In 2024, November of 2024, which was probably the best Creative Summit I've ever been to, Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, they announced Final Cut Pro 11. Big success. Everybody pretty much agrees that was one of the best. I think it was the best Creative Summit ever. Absolutely. Did I get Strat Pack Live concert DVD? No, I did not. My favorite lead guitar players I have 3 of them that I really, really like. Eric Clapton during the Cream era. I love Eric Clapton during the Cream era. That beautiful blues tone, beautiful blues phrasing, fluid. The guy could solo for like 15 minutes straight on one song. So Eric Clapton, as this is talking about lead players, during the Cream era. Tone, blues, very fluid. Mick Taylor from the Rolling Stones, when he was in the Stones, Exile on Main Street era is the same thing. Fantastic tone, just a fluid blues rock player. And then the third one you may not have heard about, but he was a local guy in D.C. His name was Roy Buchanan. He played a Telecaster. Unfortunately, he's no longer here. Excellent, unique Telecaster player, country, blues, rock and roll. Excellent player. So, yeah, those are my three favorite lead players. As far as general rock guitar players, Keith Richards. He has written so many great, memorable rock riffs and chord structures and stuff. He's just phenomenal. He's my favorite overall. But as far as just pure lead, Clapton, Mick Taylor, and Roy Buchanan are my three favorites. There's plenty of other ones as well, but those three are really, really people that I study. All right. Maybe we'll get Final Cut Pro 12.0.1 bug fix this week. I mean, they're not going to release another feature update, I wouldn't think, until the Creative Summit. Now, at this point, since they haven't announced it, we're already in February. They said last August, they'd let us know in December. Well, December came and went. They didn't let us. They said, we don't have the information yet. So 5 months later, we still don't know about the Creative Summit. That's not cool. I mean, it really isn't. However, at this point, since they really need a Final Cut Pro feature update, now they could show us an advanced feature of Final Cut Pro. They've done that 3 times at Creative Summits. They showed us a version of Final Cut Pro that was not out, but was coming out later. And we could talk about it on social media. They didn't say you can't talk about it. So that could be, they could show us a feature. Just suppose the Creative Summit is in May or June. They could show us a new feature update to Final Cut Pro, or they could release a new feature update to Final Cut Pro. There's no sense in having a Creative Summit without a new feature update to Final Cut Pro at that point. So I don't expect it to be March, even April, because NAB is in April. Maybe in May, or even though WWDC is in June, maybe in June, because that's still technically spring. Until June the 20th, it's still technically spring. Summer starts on June the 20th or 21st, I forget which. So we'll have to see. But if they come out with a new update to Final Cut Pro this week, bug fix 12.0.1, we'll do a quick live stream to talk about it, see what bugs they fixed, the way I always do. Go watch the videos on my YouTube channel. I got a bunch of them. And you see, like I said, the 18-minute condensed version of the demo of ScriptStar from Ian and Chris. It's on there. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to go get ready for my snowstorm that's coming up. If it's snowing, it's probably not going to be snowing. I think it's rain and snow Sunday. And then the big snow's coming Sunday overnight into Monday morning. And we were shut down for 4 days, the schools. Curious to see any Blackmagic updates in April. You'll see very likely Blackmagic 21, at least a beta at NAB. At least a beta. That's what they typically do. A week or so before NAB, they'll talk about it. They'll have a video and they'll go through all the new stuff. And then at NAB, there's not a lot of pressure. You got to do it there. So I expect Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve at 21 who knows what features they're going to have. They're just through the roof with features. So hopefully, I mean, we'll see. I might go to NAB this year. Didn't go last year. Wasn't interested. But since Final Cut Pro Track has been announced that with the post-production world, FMC and Apple, they've done Final Cut Pro sessions all along. This one must be something different. I might go to report back to you what's going on as live as possible or from my hotel room each night, each morning. We'll have to see. As we get closer and closer, I'll have more details about that. If DaVinci Resolve 21 comes out at NAB, don't be surprised if there's an update charge to go from 20 to 21. Because last year, Grant Petty said, we are probably going to have to charge an upgrade fee for a future version of DaVinci Resolve Studio, not the free version, obviously. Don't be surprised if there's a $49 or $99 upgrade fee for the new version of DaVinci Resolve. I'll pay it, no problem, as long as it's $49 or $99. I use DaVinci Resolve enough. I really like it. I like supporting them. So I also like supporting the Final Cut Pro team. So if I got to subscribe to do that, I'll subscribe a few months out of the year. At this point, I'm not going to subscribe by the year because I don't need any of the things that they're offering above and beyond the standalone versions of Final Cut Pro, the 15-year-old version of Final Cut Pro. All right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here, get ready for our big snowstorm. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, let's see what we have here. Subscribe over there at the YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com/RichardTaylorTV. Give this video a thumbs up. It's always appreciated. They say it helps. They say it helps the algorithm. We have an Apple Creator Studio Facebook group. So that's it. Facebook.com/groups, Apple Creator Studio. We have 1,500 members that we've garnered in the last 3 weeks. So we're doing okay over there. Come on over there and join us over there. Mostly Final Cut Pro discussion, but some other discussions as well. Anything in the Apple Creator Studio is going to be allowed, but it's mostly, I think, Final Cut Pro. I think that's the biggest app in the Apple Creator Studio. All right? Everyone, I'm going to finish this up, and I got a snowstorm coming tomorrow night. I got to make sure everything's ready. I got to clean off the driveway of any sticks and stones and make sure my snowblower works, which it does. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Go ahead and give $10 to Chris and Ian over there in the App Store for ScriptStar. It's a cool little app. Enables text-based editing in Final Cut Pro. Plus, you can export text files, PDFs, SRTs. There you go. Go back to the YouTube channel. I got 2 videos up there for it. The live video, which is almost 2 hours, and a condensed version, which is 18 minutes. I want to give each and every one of you... Oh, I didn't press that. Wait a minute. Let's do that again. There we go. Each and every one of you, a round of applause. You come back here every week. You're raising my subscription numbers, my viewers and everything, etc. I appreciate it. And this is for the Final Cut Pro Apps team for updating Final Cut Pro to version 12. Don't stop. Give us some more features the rest of 2026. All right, everyone. I'll talk to you all later. Thanks for tuning in as usual. We'll be back next Saturday at 10 o'clock. Maybe during the week if anything else happens. We'll have to see. Talk to you later.